Follow. Hey, everybody, AM 1230 WJLB and 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region. Hanging out with you guys on a beautiful Thursday morning. And we got plenty to talk about. May 17th of 2018. And I have the Joe B. Ride for a Cure coming in. It's the 13th annual Joe B. Memorial. I want to say that I interviewed Joe B., the original one, Joe Badustak Jr. I met him before, and now I can't believe that he's been gone 13 years. It does, wow, that goes like that. But his brother and his dad got together, and they have the Joe B. Jr. Memorial Fund, and their ride, and that is come to say it's at the Knights on 173rd and Hammond. And it's single riders or 15 riders or 25. We'll have on in just a little bit. And then what do you have on the markets? You know what? They were down a little bit yesterday, and then they rallied back, and they did okay on the day. And let's see, we have, let's see, it was up 6.2 on the day. And where are we overnight? I did not check that. It's one of the things I didn't get to. And it is in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is down 30, so really nothing in overnight. So we do have plenty of stuff on the national stage, but we got some stuff here locally I want to hit. But let's take some phone calls from you guys. It's just you and me hanging out, and I'd like to see what Jeff has to say. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Not bad. I'm kind of disappointed you missed a very crucial aspect of the weather today. You said the high was what?
Oh, I missed it. I'm off my game today, man.
How blah, dude. Come on, give it to me. What was the high?
Hey, everybody. The high today is going to be 76. Wow, man. You know what? The game around here, or people are going to find that. Jeff, where are you calling from?
Crown Point, bud.
What's it like there? How beautiful is it if you look out to the east right now?
It's a nice, chipper morning, but it is definitely going to be a nice, warm day.
You got it. What's the high again?
76.
See you later, man. Thanks. Talk to you. I'm off my game this morning. All right. And nothing against you guys, but Ryan Walsh is in here, so it takes me a little while to get into my rhythm. If I don't see that guy with the tie, the lanky dude with the tie, and then he and I don't even talk in the morning. Do you guys know that? No. Tony does a great job. Jimmy Mullaney does a great job, and Will Hetzel, he does a great job too. But Ryan's off today. I don't know what he's doing, but I noticed he sent an email last night about 10:30. Jed's glasses are in the white box. That's how detail-oriented Ryan is. So no Ryan today. I'm going to blame it on that, Jeff. Big truck! But it is beautiful out in Crown Point. It's beautiful here in Hammond. And we've got stuff to get to. I've got a text already that has come in. And it looks like it's from Mad Mac. The only problem with that theory, Jimmy, is that Trump was going after the black vote. He specifically called out blacks and said, "Why are you voting for Dems? They do nothing for you." More fake news, Jimmy. They faked you out again. Well, I guess they did. They got me. So what else is going on? You know, the thing is about my bone to pick is not with whether Steve Bannon had as a purpose to suppress the black vote and he used Facebook to help do it. That's something that we'll have to sort out over. I don't know if it was illegal or even if we'll really know the difference. But from the beginning, I've got kind of a unique seat here. As Will Haxel said, he wants to one day sit on the throne. I'm not sure what throne that is. We've got thrones around the corner. They're all made of porcelain, and they take water and they flush it out, and it goes out to the street. Those are the thrones I know here. But I get to see, with all of the streaming media, I spent my whole day yesterday dealing with it, and I'm getting to see the power of what's happening. getting to see the decline very quickly of over-the-air and cable TV and the replacement of it by streaming video. And, ours gets stronger every day. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future. We've already seen the breakdown of radio, although radio is still alive and kicking in local areas. It's not national, the vanilla national radio, but still in many areas, the only real local electronic media force is radio. Television is either in just getting more concentrated in the bigger cities, and I get a view of it. The thing that scares me is the rise of the turd state. And this is what comes out of the election of 2016, is that the rise of the third state may have affected the outcome of Hillary versus Donald. There it is. And in the meantime, even if it did, it doesn't matter to the creepy growth of Amazon, Google, and Facebook mostly. That is a scary thing. You know what I'm saying? And all the knowledge we just give up easily just scares me, and I don't know why. I don't have a specific reason, but if you control or have a influence in an election by using Facebook, then what's next? You know what I mean? And I don't think that many people care. One of the things I started doing, writing a blog where I'm just kind of like open and honest about things that are going in the business, and it's called My Radio Life. And a couple of people ask me, like, well, why do you just discuss stuff like that? I go, because you know what? Everything about me is out there and known, and I'm on the radio, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, and all that. I mean, we'll hide. And then if someone wants to hack into your computer, they probably can. And where are you going to hide? I mean, where's your privacy? And does it even matter? And so I just feel like I remember in third grade, Sister Laurentia went on a big dissertation about people passing notes, and that it's there forever, and they could be used against you, and you should worry about your privacy. Almost like Sister Laurentia was giving she was like Nostradamus Laurentia, and she was seeing the future, that once you put it out there, it can always be there. And you have to always be concerned about your own privacy. It's almost as if we could reincarnate Sister Laurentia to come up here with her ruler, because she had a habit of hitting knuckle with the ruler. And it was one of those things, kind of like when my old man would swat us. It wouldn't really hurt that much. It was just so demeaning that you either cried on the outside or you cried on the inside. You'd put your hands down on the desk and she'd whack your knuckles, because I didn't understand it at the time, but evidently it could A, kind of hurt you, and B, whip you into line without leaving any lacerations or hematomas on your body. So I'm not giving anybody ideas, I hope, but I don't know how we got off on that. Did Zube wind up eating all of his tacos yesterday? That's even more important. Let's end right now. Hi, how are you?
What'd Zube do? Come to a studio and Taco Bell for you?
No, he called in yesterday and he was so upset about the bad accident on the Borman. He had to wait in it for like a half hour. He got off at Avenue and ordered a feast fit for 3 kings at the Taco Bell there.
Okay.
I'm sure he
like $9 bill of
exactly. No, Taco Bell is
18,000 calories.
Exactly. Taco Bell is surprisingly inexpensive. I mean,
yeah, it's good taste. I'm actually semi-tasty. I mean,
I know you can't set, if you're, my wife and the Mexican family, they won't eat Taco Bell. Like if we're traveling.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of the things, Jim. Trust me, Taco Bell's not that bad.
No, we'll get off at an exit, like we're traveling somewhere, and we'll get off, and I'll be like, all right, hey, man, there's all that's here is McDonald's and Taco Bell and Wendy's. And I'm like, I opt for Taco Bell, man. Those little burritos.
Yeah, you go get like 4 hard-shell tacos, and then you go over to Wendy's and get a Frosty, and you're set for like the next 8 hours in the car.
And you know what? If you threw McDonald's fries with those 4 tacos and then a Wendy's Frosty, you pretty much have a food coma coming on and a nap in the back seat due to you.
So listen, hey, make sure you give my number to Zoo. I want to cook some good chicken for him so he knows what's good, all right?
All right, talk to me. What's happening?
But anyways, let's get on with the Trump stuff here, okay? The turd state, what are you... This is another, like, D-Lo fell out of the bunk bed without his helmet. You do know your boys, your honest journalists over at the AP did a survey on how many people could cite the Russian influence in their life regarding the last election, right? They asked them, so what in the Russian, let's say, arsenal influenced your vote? Now, out of the approximately 1,000 people they got to when they decided to abandon their little experiment, they find a single person that could show anything the Russians did to influence their vote. Just because you get 50 page watches on Facebook for some of the most idiot. Have you ever seen any of those ads that the Russians put on Facebook?
I just saw ones that they released the other day, and now
and that was in 2018, right? So you never saw any of them during the election at all, did you?
Well, I think that's the idea, Mad Mac. I'm not seeing them. I wasn't. They didn't have my information, or I wasn't targeted. I didn't see them. No.
No, nobody saw them. And if you actually saw them, you'd have looked at I saw like 100. Okay, like right after the election when they were talking this, and I'm like, you couldn't tell if for some of them you couldn't tell what's even trying to tell you. Okay?
Well, I mean, I think what you're arguing right now, Liz. Okay, hold on a second. You're arguing is was it effective? That's what you're arguing. You're arguing was it effective or not effective?
I think almost non-existent.
Okay, but I think that if you precede that, you look and you say one of the, I guess the concerns here is, did the Donald Trump campaign try to influence the election by getting together with the Russians? That's a question
there's nothing, Jimmy.
Okay, and I understand that. And then, honestly, I'm starting to think that, eventually this thing's going to wind down and Giuliani's going to engineer some sort of soft landing. But you can't argue the effectiveness because, I mean, let's look at...
What do you mean the effectiveness? Tell me one person who says to you, hey, Jim, I changed my vote from Hillary to Trump. Find that one American.
Okay, but
find the one.
Okay, I got you. All right, I got what you're saying, but let's just say,
always with you, but.
Yeah, well, because there's another side to it, and that's one of the things that is kind of lost sometimes. But here's the deal.
I think it's in your head.
Nobody changed their vote. Let's just say not one person in America changed vote. Okay.
No, that's not.
No, let's say that. Okay, just hold on. You got to listen. Let's say that one person changed their vote in America, but the Trump administration and the campaign together with Russia to try to make it happen. Tried to do it,
Jimmy,
but they didn't change it.
Tell me
okay,
one thing.
We don't have that evidence, and that is the year-long Mueller investigation. To me, whether or not it changed the election is secondary to see if it was tried to change, and that is a big question. You got to answer that.
It's a question with an answer of the null set. There's nothing there, bud.
So why do we have this massive investigation? And why Republicans and Democrats alike. With the Mueller investigation, it has the entire
You don't have
focus.
Republicans. You've got
plenty of
anti-Trump Republicans, and they're
so everyone's out to get
running.
Trump. That's what this boils down to.
Oh, absolutely. In the beginning, yeah, but now that the guy's becoming a success, I actually heard yesterday that it was on WJOB. It was a historical day, the first time in the history of WJOB. You know what that moment was, don't you?
It was misinterpreted, but I do believe that Donald Trump is having a very good effect on the economy. But you're losing the question by obfuscating the atmosphere here. And the question is not whether it was successful, it was whether it was tried.
It was. What's your evidence? Go ahead.
That's not the point right now. Doesn't mean that you've got to look at what the truth is there, and that is on both sides, man. Mac, a lot of people other than you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm waiting, listening. I'm all ears.
So
you got a million people listening. Say one piece of evidence, anything. I'll buy a Taco Bell right now. I'll bring down a grill.
What kind of logic is that? There's an investigation going on with indications that there may have been Russian influence in the 2016 election. Do you want to just stop that?
Jimmy, it's as Mr. Comey said.
I asked you a question. You want to stop it or not? Just stop it. Because why? Because
you nowhere.
You know it's going nowhere. Hold on a second. It's going nowhere right now, but all of the people that are asking, and you have the Senate investigation, you got the Congress, you got the Congress investigation, you've got the Mueller investigation,
blah, 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 blah.
So telling me that you know what all of those people have. You have their evidence. You hacked into their computers and saw it.
What's the evidence, man?
Okay. The thing's not finished. I feel like I gotta tell you one thing.
Your
head against the wall until
it
feels good when you're.
Do you realize that on national radio, the Sean Hannity show, Rush Limbaugh, the other one, what's his name? The Supreme Court guy, Mark Levine. That you realize that their advertising rates on those shows are the highest they've ever been in the history of radio?
Good.
That they are commanding audiences off the charts right now.
Hey, did you look at yesterday's? Look at this. You got to look at it. We have a young conservative doing a show now, Sam Michael. Do you listen to him in the afternoon ever?
Oh yeah, I go in and out on it. Yeah.
So is
he getting good? Is he some momentum or what?
He's picking up some momentum. I look at numbers on our Facebook views, and Sam is basically doubled from when he started just a few weeks ago, and he's like asking me
Does that tell you some maybe?
Oh, it tells me a lot. I'm like, what people want to hear is what I'll bring out. But anyways, let me address this. And so, really, what it is in my book is if somebody has a story to tell and they find their voice, I really don't care where it is on the political, but Sam's finding his voice, and you watch him from 1 to 3 in the afternoon here, and tell me what you think, because a lot of people are starting to watch him, and it's something, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. It says that we all know around here when we first saw Sam that he had he had the ability to announce a basketball and a football game pretty well. And then he's like, well, I don't know, I really want to talk politics on the air. I'm like, well, you find your voice. You tell me what you want to do, and we'll go that direction. And so I've been kind of trying to find his voice. And he's starting to he had a pretty good show. You guys could watch it. Go on Facebook feed. Anyways, let's take some more. Let's go to Tom on line 6. Tom, you're up next. What are you doing?
I'm listening to you, and thank you for taking my call. And just listening to the conversation earlier, I have to preface this. I think you know me well enough. I volunteered, I served, and I am not a left-wing liberal. However, I look at the facts, and I don't vote a straight ticket. That being said, what was said earlier, I know 5 people that did change their votes. what you were just talking about. That's number one. Number, if you put A, B, C, and D, and all of the above, when you see all these links of dirty money flying, there's not a swamp anymore. It's a cesspool. The money's there. Follow the money, and it'll all come out. Now, as far as like you were saying with them trying to change something, yes, it was tried because it's proven that you see that they had means, they wanted the means, they were looking for the dirt. I can see this. It's not fake news, and I don't remember. I'm not the biggest buff. Believe me, I can't recall where President Obama, Clinton, or Bush had any meetings with the Russians that are. There's pictures in the office, and they're yucking it up. And the fact of the matter was, it was said. I got rid of Comey because he wasn't going to back off of Flynn made hundreds of thousands of dollars from Turkey, these other entities that he was getting paid from, dirty money. So there it is. There's part of it.
All right, man. Hey, thank you. Thank you for your time. 219-845-1100. Let's see how Phil's doing. Fernando, how are you?
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
I'm doing all right.
Mad Max, funny guy. He calls and says that what proof do you have, and then who has changed their vote? You know, some people didn't have a vote. There were a lot of undecideds, Mad Mac, and they decided maybe to go with Trump. So it wasn't so much how many people changed their vote, you know, and those are so close that, you know, you get a few people to change their votes. Okay, that's one thing. Then you get a lot of influence the vote that they hadn't decided on in the first place. So they didn't need to change their vote. All this coming into them, they went ahead and just voted for Trump because of the stuff they put out there. So there is no change in the vote there, Mad Mac. And thanks for admitting that Trump sucked for all this time. Now you're claiming he's doing good because Mad Max said, well, now that he's getting good, or whatever he said to that. Well, I disagree. He's not doing good. The economy is not because of him. If it is doing better because of him, it's at a cost. $2 billion, $2 trillion cost, which means economy is fake right now, quoting Mr. Trump. It's not doing good. The money that was given out to companies that were already doing good without a tax break, without money being thrown at them, now that has to be paid somehow. So social programs and other things are going to take the hit because of this. So, no, the economy is not doing that good if you look at perspective. Because
what do you think
about? There's going to be
about
a price to pay. There's going to be inflation. There's going to be over economy that's going to have to be wound down. So,
Fernando, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. No, there is there's a big divide here, and it's actually kind of playing out right here on the air here, and you can almost hear it and feel it in America. Okay? But one of the issues right now is Donald Trump has been under investigation by Robert Mueller 1 year, and he's a brand new president. How long do we go with this, or is it just perpetual investigation of a president?
Well, because he's got so many skeletons in his closet, so many connections. It's so contrived. It's not so much even there was a break-in at the Democratic National Headquarters in Washington, D.C., and, you know, they covered it up, and they had these 5 guys going and what have you. It's not even much of that. This is a lot more private than that. There's so many tentacles spread out of what these guys are doing, but that's Donald. He's always been, you know, a sketchy kind of guy, a businessman that was always, you know, doing a lot of underhand things, and it's followed him through the voting process and to where he's got to now. So there's so much out there. There's so many different connections.
All right, I got a text here. I got a text here. Fernando needs his own show. All right, Fernando, good hearing from you, buddy.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I found my voice. It's here.
Yeah, I hear. Over the years, you have found your voice right here. Man, thanks for calling, like always. Hey, Dave from G City and the rest of you guys, just hang on. We got to pay a couple bills here on the voice and face of the region. Hey, it's storm season. You know what that means.
You know the great thing of Indiana weather? You never have to wait long for it to change. All 4 seasons on any given day. So when it's calm, sign up for power outage text alerts from NIPSCO. And the next time Mother Nature's in a mood, send you a notification if your power goes out, along with an estimated time you can expect it back on. Just go to nipsco.com/alerts. We'll keep you out there.
JED's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down feel and made from scratch favorites you will love. Open daily 5 a.m. to midnight, JED's has you covered with breakfast omelet, salad, stir fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently added spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at JED's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
Register now for summer classes at Ivy Tech Community College with Crown Point, East Chicago, and Gary. Class started on June 4th. Ivy Tech is the top choice of Indiana's high school students and Indiana adult students. We have experienced instructors, state-of-the-art facilities, and tuition under $4,200 a year. Learn more at ivytech.edu or call 888-IVY-LINE. That's 888-489-5463.
Hi, Sharon. Thanks a lot for voicing that spot. 636 in the Kemet region. I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED on WJO blah, blah, blah. And just kind of hanging out with you guys. I like this when we get to sit and talk. And it's sunny out. It's a beautiful day. And I guess the personal nugget is that I don't have anything on my calendar today except our marketing meeting in the afternoon and a Grateful Dead podcast. And I did my summer MBA class, and I need about 6 hours today to study. So please don't call me or anything for I need a bunch of time. I have an assignment due on Saturday, so it's going to take forever. 294 around the city, located going east and west. Looks good. The Bishop Fort's lighter than normal. And the Dan Ryan's moving along okay. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30 are all moving along well. Right at the merge, you're going to have from the Bishop Fort to the Randian, you are going to have stoppage, but it's only been worse. And same thing on the southern end of the Dan, but going maybe 20 an hour for about a couple of miles. You can do that. And so traffic brought to you by Naples. Honda proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Hey, you owe the IRS $10,000 more in business or personal taxes? Call the taxer now. Learn how to settle your tax debt for less. 800-542-9112. And let's take a look at weather brought to you by our good friends at CertifiedElectrician.com. And if you need electrical work done, have an electrician do it. It's 52 here at the Vac and Strantil Studios, campus of Newport West. It's going up to a high. Are you ready to rock steady with Eddie? It's going up to a high of na 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 na. Na, 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 na. And then partly sunny and beautiful and a high of 71. And then Saturday, clouds and sun and a high of 7. And afternoon thunderstorm on Sunday. So it's a little rain here and there. But I'll tell you what, it's not bad 5-day forecast. Get out and do something. And I'm thinking of doing the unthinkable. And that is taking my Purdue Northwest study material and going out and sitting on a picnic table at Wicker Park. Now, I'm not going to tell you what picnic table because I don't want you to talk to me. I want to be able to study my consumer behavior and in relative peace. But it is that kind of day. Get outside, my friends. Weather there, yeah, you got it. Brought to you by CertifiedElectrician.com. Just go there if you want some electrical work done. Let's hear a couple of the texts that have come in, and they are from 14 different people. And in the next week, when you're watching it, you'll be able to see some of these texts roll by. They be identified or anything, but we're almost there. All right. So Fernando said social programs are suffering. That isn't the economy. The economy is doing fine. So there are jobs instead of free money that's making America great. All right. Jed, you just let Mad Mac make up. Why is that? Grill this idiot Fernando like you do Mad Mac. Okay. Sad thing is they just showed Hillary's dark side. Here's another one. Fernando is either your dumbest caller. There you go, Fernando. Can you take the heat, my friend? Let's see. So Sam Mike, favorite DJ, has a show from 1 to 3 p.m. Yes, he does. And we'll be making some adjustments over. But Sam's getting some momentum in the afternoon. Hey, Jed, I'm glad you can't claim an angle because I care more about the opinion of a rat than a Dem or a Republican. Keep up the good work. That's Marine Pete. Marine Pete is serving our country. I say he's in South Carolina right now. I also want to say hello to the radio guy. I forget his first name. Name on Facebook. He hit me up and he listens out of Lafayette every day. Used to work at a couple radio stations down that way, and he listens to it, and I appreciate you guys. Jed, I wish the counterpoint view was being presented at WJOB. You need to let Fernando have a show. 1 year and $20 million so far. Tom, this. Let's see what else we got. The study and complicity of Mad Mac to blanket Pastor Trump is astounding. And the millennials coming out now are the entitlement generation. One problem with that theory, Jed, is that Trump was going after the black vote. He specifically called out blacks and said, why are you voting Dems? So anyways, there you go. I got plenty of local stuff I got to get to. But right now I want to talk to Frank, Judy, and Dave from G City. Dave, how are you?
Good. Beautiful day. Westbound from I-65 to 390 is wide open, which is a beautiful thing. Traffic today too.
Hey, let's play a little make-believe game. You know they have those like big boxes they take.
I thought we did that every day anyway.
Well, yeah, I do make stuff up sometimes. Listen,
Take
all right,
those.
yeah, so you got one of those like escape boxes they bring to parties and they put down in the driveway, and you go in there and you got to figure out how to get out. It's all dark inside there. What if we put Fernando and Mad Mac together and they had to figure out how to work together to get out of it? And then we filmed it.
That would be awesome.
I would watch it. I'd watch it.
It would be Fernando or Jamie. I would like to see Jamie and Matt back in the box.
It's making me smile, and I don't know why.
Me too. I'm smiling right now.
All right, go ahead. What's on your mind?
No, I just but here I become very cynical, not just in regards to the local politics, but it's just a victor goes to sport. It's whoever has the most power. So if you have the House, Senate, and the White House, you can say and do whatever you want. It's been a year. Mueller's been investigating this for a year, right? And Republicans, say, well, that's enough. But they didn't think it was enough in regards to the hours and hours and millions of dollars of money and testimony that they put Hillary Clinton on the stand with. I don't know if you got that press release 2 weeks ago. The Republican-held committee said she didn't have anything to do with it, neither did Obama. Okay, we're just going to put it, and it's one of those things they put out at 8 o'clock at night Friday, so it's buried by Monday. There didn't seem to be a line in the sand in regards to all the testimony Hillary gave. And 3 years on Whitewater if people go to the Wayback Machine. So it's who's ever in power does this. Democrats do it, Republicans do it, and this is it is. And if you don't like it, then go vote out your congressman or vote out your senator. I mean, this is you have to start somewhere.
Hey, listen, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You're a big Oscar Martinez supporter, correct?
Yes.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. The right man is in there for the right job.
Why? Why is he the right man?
Well, first of all, just forget about the whole political side of it and go back and look at his record. It's an exceptional record, tremendous amount of commendations he received. Not one black on his record as a sheriff's police. He knows the inside. More than that, I do a lot of sheriff's police, and he is just beloved there. He's one of them. He knows how to operate, and he also knows the problems. You know, back the last election that Buncich won, in the debate, Sheriff Martinez brought up the towing scandal, and it was just never followed up. So if you go back in 2014 and look at the debate, he brought up the towing scandal during the debate. So, you know, he's there to clean things up, and you know, all you can do is, for me, is hope for the best, and that he makes the right decisions. He's making some great decisions. He's not taking homies, you know, from the area. He did a national search for the warden for the hill. So these are all positive things. And it's months since he was caucused in, and we'll see what happens in November. But I'm cautiously optimistic. It's going to be a hard-fought battle because Dan got 11,000 votes. You know, and that really wakes you up, makes you sit up straight in your seat when your opponent now
Stop.
gets
Just
11,000
stop.
votes.
Okay, just stop. All right. I'm just stop on this, okay? Because I know that there's a lot of people that are saying Dan Burzak got 11,000 votes, and maybe at some point something changes to make this a real game. But in my mind, just from the 70% plurality in Lake County, it's East Chicago Central playing Couts. And that's until somebody shows me something otherwise. That's how I look at it. Thanks a lot, Dave. All right, hey, I got to take Frank. I think Frank was. Frankie, how you doing?
Jed, good morning. Before I get to my Mueller musings, half of my plan for you today, the studying half outside. The other half was to put a audio podcast together of your material for studying, put on earbuds, and play 18 holes.
You know, that sounds like a great idea, but I got to tell you, I'm raising my hand right now to the camera because Dr. Lauren Brown put a little cast on my wrist yesterday. Because, and I know what you're going to make a joke about. You know, every time a guy hurts his wrist and he's married, there's these, like, inopportune jokes. But
I would never do that.
All right, well, I'm about 2 weeks away from doing that, he said. If I cast for 2 weeks, it should be better. So what a great idea, because Wicker's looking good right now.
I mean, you get the best of both worlds, studying, swinging. What beats that?
You know, have you played golf yet this year?
Not yet. I up a while ago. I'm like a 22nd year beginner. I just go out because I enjoy being outside and walking around. I get it. Mostly pleasure being outside.
Where do you like to play?
Kind of partial. I'm probably not one of your typical listeners. I grew up on the southwest side of Chicago, near Subso. Grew up playing Mar Park originally, which is just a fun place then and a fun place to go back to now. But otherwise, the course is out in the southwest suburbs mostly.
You know what? There are so many of them.
If you drive Archer Avenue out south, you run over them constantly. Ruffled Feathers and all those.
Ruffled Feathers is really nice, by the way. And what is the one I went and played last year with Mary Lou Daniels and her husband Paul? It used to be a private, kind of mostly Jewish country club, and now they've opened it to public playing. And I would drive there every time, and I forget the name, and somebody will text it to me.
Yeah.
Silver Springs, you ever play there?
I've heard it. I've gone by a million times. I have not played there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many over there. You're right. And, well, Now you're getting an idea that maybe it's time to play golf. Except, there's what, like 30% of the people of the number of golfers there were 20 years ago. I mean, I don't know how all these golf courses stay in business. You know what I mean?
That's to jack up the price, you or who are, I guess.
Yeah. All right, man. Good hearing you, Frank. A lot. All right. We'll hear. Thanks. We'll hear from Judy, and then we got Joe B. Memorial. We're going to talk about. Hey, Judy, ¿cómo está usted? Bien.
Hello. How are you?
Okay. I thought I said I was asking how you're doing in Spanish.
Well, I'm doing just fine.
Okay. Are you shouting?
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm starting to go deaf.
No, that's okay. I want to hear you. You got to talk up a little bit. So what's going on? How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I'm sorry I haven't called in a long time, but I sleep in now a lot later than you're on. So
Why do you sleep in so late?
because I sit up watching TV all night.
What do you watch?
Oh, game shows.
Late at night, there's game shows on?
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? The Price is Right? Let's Make a Deal? What?
Oh,
The,
Win Sanity, and I like to watch that Cash Cab.
do you like watching The Voice?
Occasionally. I haven't really got it this year, this time.
Do you like watching The Bachelor?
So.
Yeah. But
I love Survivor.
oh, really?
Yeah.
You're the one. You know, what you're talking about is a natural progression. I mean, if you think about, like, remember Daryl and Joe from Highland and from Lowell, what's the guy from Lowell that called me early on in the show? And they all going, or they had stuff they were doing. And then I run into them one day. I'm like, dude, you haven't called me in years. What's up? Oh, I'm so tired. I sleep till like 9:30. You know, I stay up late. Even my dad, my own dad. Oh, dude, I'm talking about stuff. We're all talking table, and all the relatives are talking about stuff on the show, and my dad can't even join in because he wakes up at like 8:30 sometimes. I want to be like you one day. I want to sleep till 8 o'clock on a regular basis. So what's going on?
You.
Yeah, well, it's something to look forward to, you know?
Right.
The only bittersweet thing there is that I know you, and I know your other half who passed a while.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to be kind of waking up at 8:30 with him next to you. Is hairy and wheeze for you it was. But anyways, all right, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I'm up early today because I'm heading to LaPorte. I'm going to check out the Blue Heron. Have you ever heard of it?
Are you having an affair? All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to play this straight. I haven't. Tell me about it.
It's on Pine Lane. My nephew is having his wedding there, and we're going to make it like a splash family reunion and do like 2 or 3 days there.
Oh, nice. That's great. I never heard of this place, but is it a good place to like get a bunch of family and just hang around? When's the wedding? On Saturday?
It's on a Saturday, and some of them are going Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
You're going to go and you're going to party for 3 days.
3 days.
You're not going to party though. You'll be in your bed in a hotel room watching your game 9 o'clock tonight.
No, I'll be partying with the best of them.
Really?
Right.
You still got some of that EC in you then, huh?
E.C. Hammond.
There you go. All right, well, have fun, all right? I'm glad you're up, and you need to call me more often. And you need to wake up and just say, all right, I'm going to call Jed, see what he's doing. How's that sound?
Well, with the progression that I also have 4 o'clock in the morning for you know what.
No, why don't you explain it to us?
The time most old people wake up, I'm not old. I mean, you know, I'm getting there, but I'm not yet.
All right, hey, Judy, good to hear from you, like always.
God bless.
You too. Talk to you. Hey, Joe B. Memorial's coming up this weekend. We're going to hear about it right after the voice and face of the region. AM 1230, WJOB, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. Maybe, just maybe, there will be some of this at the Blue Heron Inn this weekend.
Men, are you taking for a Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about Sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Plus 219-228-7200. Visit us at vitosPharmacy.com. Vito's Pharmacy.
Carpenters Local 599 joins with other carpenters to build the local economy and has been doing so for over 117 years. We are proud to be a member of the Indiana Ohio Regional Council Carpenters, which is threefold: training, professionalism, and partnership. We also offer some of the benefits in the industry. To find out how to become a member of Carpenters Local 599, contact us at 219-942-0518 or log on to ikorcc.com.
Theo's Steak and Seafood sets the standard of fine dining excellence. Delicious USDA prime meats and steaks along with the freshest seafood in the area. Celebrate your special event, friends, family, and associates in our private dining room that can seat up to 125 people. For information, call 838-8000 or theoshighland.com. Also visit our other restaurants, Prime Steakhouse, Umi Sushi Lounge in Crown Point, and Ted's Family Restaurant in Calumet City.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers building West Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Trade and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers35.com or nwicers.org.
NWIcontractors.org. I'll tell you what, that guy's got one amazing voice who voices a commercial for the Ironworkers of Local 395. Turnout around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east, well, I was either going to do it straight up on the traffic, but instead, I'm going to give you the same rhythm. Bishop Ford, and Dan Ryan Larkamishka and Skyway Toll Road, Molagenia, and Garakiska, Borman, I-65 US 30 in Kalahiniask. Really what that boils down to is that the traffic's moving along pretty well, lighter than normal, and it's a beautiful day in the Calumet region. I've already told you what I'm going to do is I am going to eat a big sloppy breakfast and then go out to Wicker Park study for a few hours today, so please don't come there and don't call me because summer school started, and I'm taking a 16-week course that has been squashed down into 6 weeks. And that's just the price you pay to get your MBA. I don't know any other way. Do you, Jay? All right, 658 in the Calumet region. Tracks brought to you by Napleton and River Oaks Honda, proudly being Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. And then you've got some weather. It's just beautiful out right now. What's your name, sir?
Joe Patustak.
Joe Two-stack. How gorgeous is it out, huh?
It is really great.
It's beautiful out. I heard it's going to be nice on Saturday, too. You know what I mean? We'll get that in a second. But let's look. Let's look. Is it going to be nice on Saturday? Survey says weather. Yes, it's going to be beautiful on Saturday. Nice and not hot. Today, the high is 76. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Tomorrow, the high is 71, partly sunny and beautiful tomorrow. Saturday, clouds and sun, a high of 70. And Sunday, an afternoon storm, and a high of 67. Winds right now are from the northeast at about 8 to 14 miles an hour. So even though it is 53 degrees, it feels like it's in the 40s. And wind night will be from the east-northeast, gusting up to about 15 miles an hour. So really good sleeping weather. Although I'm like Judy, woke up this morning at 2:30 and never went back to bed. And it is that midnight urination that just gets you up, and sometimes you're just up. It's the curse of the Polish ants. All of my aunts, they all complain of like just never-ending insomnia of getting up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, really? I turned into one of my Polish ants at an early age? What's going on? And so the weather is brought to you by Laborers Local 41, of which I am a proud alum. Why is it such a big deal that it's going to be nice on Saturday?
That's for the Joe B run. And I'll tell you what, after last year when we had all them storms, we're looking forward to this Saturday.
Joe B Run, the 13th annual Joe B Memorial Benefit. I cannot believe, Joe Sr., that it's been 13 years since your son passed.
Well, if you ask me, like yesterday, but time marches on. But through the 13 years, made me many new friends and helped a lot of people out along the way. Our battling thing that my son was battling.
Gosh, I just remember your son as a policeman here in Hammond, and then I remember him just being gone, and then you starting this thing, and I can't believe it's 13 years ago. Tell us, son, what did he do?
Joe, what I guess say is one heck of a competitor. When he was in high school, grade school, he played sports. He played football, basketball, and baseball. If he made up in what he didn't have in talent, he made up in heart. And then he went on to fulfill his lifelong dream to be a Hammond policeman. And he was on the SWAT team. He got to be on the drug team. And then in 2005, he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. And he put up one heck of a battle with it. There was times when he actually pulled us through his journey, we called it. And he succumbed to it, but his biggest fear about dying was that he would be forgotten. And this benefit is a memorial to him that we won't let him be forgotten.
You know, I got to give it to you. I know the focus is on your son. I remember him as a cop and a very respected cop here in Hammond, very respected Bishop Knoll guy. But I got to give it to you for keeping it up, man. I mean, you made the pledge. I remember in the first couple of years, you go, I'm not going to let this die. I'm not going to let the memory of my son die. That's what he was afraid of. And, you know, you could have, it's a lot of work.
Yes,
and you've had some ups and downs in this thing.
Oh, yes. But I'll tell you what, I've got probably the most dedicated group of people that help me out through this. I mean, they are the ones that, why this happens. Somebody's just got to be in charge of them. And I call them my group of ragamuffins.
I'm sure they really enjoy you calling them that, by the way.
I call them a lot worse at times, but they're unbelievable people. They have a love for what they do and really get into it.
Let's talk about some of these people. Throw some names out.
Okay. I got my two sons, Scott and Kevin. They middled this really bad. They wish he was here, but so do we. They are very dedicated. Then I've got my nephew, Brian Pierkowski. He's a year older than Joe was, and he is. He came to me and asked me if he could join because he believed in what we were doing. Then his girlfriend, Jocelyn Ferris. I have my niece, Gloria. Mark O'Connor is joined our group. He's in charge of the music. Tim Irwin. We call him the Rev. He's most of the people that have been here in this organization have been with me for 13 years.
Let's go over all of it. So first of all, it's a motorcycle run, but it's so much more than that. It's just a big celebration throughout the day, and we'll get to what's going on. But it looks like you have a new location this year.
Yes, we moved. Everybody's gone past the pavilion. They can see mounds of dirt, and so we were lucky, and we moved it to the Knights of Columbus on 173rd and the Klein Service Road. It'll be inside this year because that's the way it is. We got the hall holds about 400 people, and if you don't come and see what we do, you're missing a good time. Anybody that comes has a good time with us.
All right, it's been at the PAV, but I have not driven down there in the last couple of whatever. I mean, it's all ripped up, or they finally started all the construction
on the pavilion.
Yeah.
Yes, they're almost. Last year they told us that we probably find another place because they didn't believe it'd be ready for our benefit. And the city has been really, really great to us with the foundation, and they've helped up. They helped us.
So you actually probably could have held it there, but it would have been a tight fit. So you had to move it. Now, are you moving it for 1 year?
For 1 year.
Okay, so for this year, the bikes are gonna go out at 11. First bike out, last bike in, 4 p.m. Single riders are $15. Double riders, $5. Sign-ups at 9 o'clock. And if you just want to make a donation, you can give it to American Community Bank here on Holman in Hammond or any of the American Community Banks. And if you got any questions about it, Joe Patustek Sr. puts his cell phone number out, 219-616-2224, 219-616-2224. So what happens when the bikes come in? What do you got going?
After the bikes, well, we start the music up. We'll start right around noon. We got a great people that have donated their time to the area. We got classic. We've got teams with stars. If you really want to see a great entertainer, you got to see Star. And then we got the old by is Steve Beaver Lopez. He is a very talented young man, and he has got a couple of groups, a couple of guys that together, and they're going to be performing, and they really sound great. And we're going to cap the night off with Mark O'Connor's band, Hail Mary. They're really good. You can't get better entertainment for nothing.
So
and plenty of good food.
So if somebody's not riding and they just want to come out, how does that work?
Just come out to the Knights of Columbus and walk in and enjoy your time there. We don't charge to get in. It's free.
Really?
We got the refreshments, both for the adults and for the minors.
So how many places have you had this at? Think about it. You've had it at
Cavalier Inn.
Cavalier Inn.
It started there in Wally's parking lot. We just out his parking lot. The last benefit we had like 600 people.
It was too many people. I was there.
And then we moved it out to the pavilion. And now at the Knights of Columbus. Okay, so we've been lucky the years.
Yeah, so 1 year going to be out there. So anybody with a bike and you haven't gone on any major rides or anything. So the bikes are going to leave Knights of Columbus in Hammond there for 1 year until they finish up on the path. And then any specific route or what you guys are going to do?
Well, what we do is when they leave, we got a police county. They'll be out there to help us get on the Klein. And the last few years, we've taken the bikes out to the cemetery. I think they appreciate when they get there because they get to go to Joe's grave, and then 600 feet from Joe's grave is a young boy by the name of J.J. Golub that we lost, that we did the benefit for, and he had the same cancer Joe had, and the way it worked, he was diagnosed on the first year anniversary of Joe's passing, and JJ holds a special place in our hearts, as they all do. But JJ does the national anthem, Jimi Hendrix style, on his guitar, and we got a copy of it, and we play it every year at our opening ceremony. It brings a tear to the bikers' eyes when they hear it, because for the last 13 years he's opened up our ceremonies.
He was Highland youth, right? If I
Yes,
remember.
Highland.
He was fighting bone cancer for a while, and I know you guys helped him out. So you guys are raising money. Where's the money go this year?
This year it's going to go to a boy by the name of Joseph Batman Poff. Potoff, I got it wrong.
Potoff, yeah.
And Laura, but we call her Wonder Woman. She grew up in Lansing. I believe she lives in Round Lake right now, but she's a single mom of 2. She's 46. Little Joseph, 6. He's fighting brain cancer. She's fighting breast cancer. And our theme of this year is Ride for a Cure. The bikes are just, these people are just unbelievable. And
so I've got a little picture here of Joe. He's in the hospital. I don't know if he's got a bunch of stuff around his head. Might have been after surgery. And the picture of Laura Labe, and she has the cancer hat or whatever, the hats that you get handed out when you lose all your hair from treatment and so forth. So one has brain cancer and one has what kind of cancer?
Breast cancer.
Breast cancer. So the motorcycle riders get very generous on this.
They do, and this year the first 100 bikes that show up will get a commemorative pin, which is really nice. It's an eagle sitting on top of wings, and our focus normally is with the eagle because Joe loved eagles. Actually, he got to see one like where we're sitting right now. They had one in Houston when he was at Anderson, and they had it in captivity, and it's an awesome sight.
Oh, he got to get close.
And as we say now, he's flying with the eagles up there.
Stu, let's end it with that. If you guys want to be part of this, just give a call. He's at 616-2224. It's this Saturday. It's right over here in Hessville. You can see it right off of Klein Avenue. It is on 103rd and 173rd. But really what it is you take this road that goes out in between Purdue Northwest on the kind of the south end of Purdue Northwest, and you just keep taking it until it ends at Klein Avenue, and that's it. And you see the big. They got a lot of parking there. It's a huge hall, and Columbus Hall is it's kind of a standard, and you're lucky to have it.
Yes,
we are. Stand in place here.
All I can say is thank you, Region, for all the support you've given this family over the years.
All right, man. And you are, I'm coming back with a dad who just continues to raise money for a good cause. I know that when JJ was alive, his mom was very appreciative of the money you guys were able to get. These people, the Potorfs and the Labas, fighting cancer, every little bit of cash helps, and you have helped a lot of people in your son's name, and you should be commended for that.
Well, I'd like to give it to my board because they're the ones that make it.
All right, man. Big ride this Saturday. You don't have to ride, but you can just come out also and see all the people. One heck of a party. The music is always rocking and rolling, and it won't be like it was that last year at the Cavern when there were too many people trying to get into just a little piece of land. Thanks a lot, Joe. All right, guys, I'll be right back. AM 1230 WJOB, the voice and face of the region. This guy's coming up next.
Would you go to a doctor that isn't board certified? No, of course not. Then why would you trust in a lawyer that isn't board certified? If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, get someone that's a board certified civil trial specialist by the National Board of Trial Advocacy. Get someone with over 20 years experience who's a member of the Best Lawyers of America and Indiana Super Lawyers and has achieved the highest possible peer review rating of AV by Martindale-Hubbell. Get Gladish. Attorney David Gladish in Highland and his team will deal with the insurance company and its attorneys while you put your life back together. Experience, ratings, and board certification really do matter. Get Gladish. For a free consultation, call 219-838-1900, 838-1900, or visit dgladishlaw.com. That's the letter D, Gladish law.com.
GladishLaw.com. What about what's going on in North Township?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank J. Mervan, North Township trustee. I would like to share with you why my coworkers and I love working for you at the North Township trustee's office.
Hello, my name is Nancy Kowalski. I'm from Highland. I am a case manager. I help people in need. It is very self-rewarding to help someone prevent either eviction or a NIPSCO disconnect.
My name is Patricia Wolf. I am the manager at Oak Hill Cemetery. I love working at Oak Hill because it holds so much of Hammond's history. Not only are the founders of Hammond laid to rest there, but hundreds of veterans, including those who fought in the Civil War. I like knowing that I'm entrusted with caring for everybody buried there.
My name is Cindy Rivera, and I am the Education and Employment Coordinator. Why I like working for the township is I feel that my position allows me to change people's lives.
Again, this is Frank J. Mervan, Northtown trustee. If you or someone you know needs assistance, contact us today. Remember, at the North Township trustee's office, we connect people with services.
Rush Radiosurgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radiosurgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radiosurgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
With the weather finally starting to warm up, that also means ants and other bugs are coming. Rapid Pest Solutions is local and family-owned and does complete residential and commercial pest control solutions. Get rid of those pesky mosquitoes and take your yard back this summer. We have custom programs to address your specific needs. Check out our website at rapidpestsolutions.com. Call Rapid Pest Solutions at 219-922-2000 and mention you heard us on WJOB. You'll receive 25% off your first visit. Got ants? Get Rapid.
Giovanni's in Munster, Northwest Indiana's premier Italian cuisine. Come enjoy our expertly prepared veal, steak, seafood, and other Italian delicacies. Experience over 20 years of entertainment with our piano player Jack every Friday and Saturday evening in the lounge. And join our VIP or e-rewards on your next stop in. Host your special event, shower, or celebration in our back room. Giovanni's is located at 603 Ridge Road in Munster. Call 836-6220 to make a reservation. Check out our menu at giosmunster.com.
Where, oh, where can my Ryan be? Where, oh, where can he be? Ryan has gone away for the day, and he has just let me be. Hey, 7-17 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED in the region, hanging out with you guys. Go out to the Joe B. Cure for a cure. I got a whole bunch of these public service announcements, but I'm working on something over the summer that is going to streamline all of this. Just got to have a little bit of patience. Paciencia, mi amigo. And what do you have in terms of the roadways? Pretty light on 294 around the city. That's very surprising. 80 going east and west is moving along okay. Bishop Foe, you've got some problems as you get to the merch, but you're used to that. Once you get to the Randian, it's been worse. So if you can make it through the merge, you'll be all right. A mild watch of Bishop Fold. Of course, it's always treacherous as you approach Jane Byrne, but she's they're going to be working on Jane Byrne's backbone for quite some time up there, and it's like a 4-year project. So one day you'll just be able to zip through downtown Chicago. Not. Skyway looks good. Toll Road okay. I-65 US 30 Klein Avenue. And then what do you have? Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana from Torrance. And what do you have in terms of the weather? Just beautiful out. It's just nice out. It's cold, a little cool out this morning. It's 53 degrees here at the back in Strand Hill Studios on the campus of Nerdue Northwest. And it is also 53 degrees at local 593 of the Ironworkers. And then of local 14 of the Laborers in Munster, it is 53 degrees also. High today of 76. Dun, 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 dun. Tomorrow, high of 71, partly sunny and beautiful. And then Saturday, a high of 70, times of clouds and sun. William Hatzel, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Got some sports updates for you. These sports updates are brought to you by Johnny's Tap. In softball, Hobart shut out Lake Station yesterday, 11-0. Hobart's Salem Smith tossed a no-hitter with 6 strikeouts. Crown Point beat Lowell 4-2. Crown Point's Anna Holloway led the way with going 3 for 4 with a double and a triple. Lake Central dominated Highland 14-2. Lake Central was led by Olivia Peterson, who went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. LaPorte edged Munster 5-4. Sophie Zorg went 3 for 4 and tallied 2 RBIs. Washington Township defeated Wheeler 5-1. Haley Roosh led the way with a triple and 2 RBIs. In baseball, Andrean blanked Bishop Knoll 7-0. Andrean's Mike Doolin went 2 for 4 with a home run and scoring 2 runs. Maryville slips past Valparaiso 5-4. Maryville's Israel Woods struck out 6 and added 2 hits in the win. In girls track, Morgan Township swept the relays to win their first ever sectional title in the Kankakee Valley sectional. In girls tennis, the Crown Point sectional, the Bulldogs swept Lowell 5-0. Anna Maximovich won 6-0 in straight sets to help lead the way. In the LaPorte sectional, LaPorte edged Marquette Catholic 3-2. LaPorte's Tally Wolf and Allison Varda both won their singles matches 6-0 in straight sets. In national news, the Cubs lost to the Braves 4-1 last night when the Braves scored 3 runs in the 8th. The Pirates squeezed by the White Sox 3-2. The Rockets dominated the Warriors 127-105 to tie the series, 1 apiece in the Western Conference Finals. And then in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-2 to take a 2-1 series lead. And there's the sports.
There you go.
Sorry, I ended a little abruptly there.
So Houston won last night, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Where was that at? That was at Houston, right? Yeah, it was at Houston. So it's 1-1 in that series, right?
Yes.
And then Boston is up 2-0, and they play again tonight.
Yeah, they'll be playing tonight.
Man, I came home, I was getting ready to watch that, and I just went to bed. And that's too bad because there is some amazing basketball going on right now. Houston and Golden State is a great series. They might upend them. They just might. I mean,
there's a possibility. They just got to keep playing good defense on Steph Curry, I think.
A lot of people were looking for Golden State and Cleveland again, and I would like to see that myself because I'm a big Cleveland fan. Went to my wife's doctor with her yesterday, and the lady in there was a LeBron James hater.
I'm one of those too. I need to see someone else. It's got to be someone else in the finals. I'm getting tired of it.
You know, here's the thing. You don't realize what you have sometimes until it's gone. And we are watching the greatest basketball player ever to play the game. And I don't know if we're fully appreciating that, to be honest with you. Did you see that? Something just happened here. And
broke the screen.
I just broke the screen. Life sucks, and then you die. And I just wish that more people would appreciate LeBron James because he's so large, he's so graceful. He's not a very nice man on the court. He's a bit of a whiner, but who cares? He does what he can to win. He's won 3 titles, and he's been there 8 times. He's the greatest basketball player there ever was. I would like to see him go up against perhaps one of the greatest point guards ever, and Steph Curry once again. When you have LeBron James going against Steph Curry, just forget all the other players. Forget Kevin Rose, forget Klay Thompson, KD, all that stuff. You have 2 thoroughbreds running at the tops of, well, LeBron's not at the top of his game, but he's still close. And Steph Curry is maybe a year or 2 away from what his top of the game was. But you still have 2 of the best basketball players of the modern era on the court at the same time. Now, James Harden is a different story. He's playing for Houston right now. He also is amazing to watch. I mean, I just like watching just the best of the best, and we have it right now. So why do you hate LeBron?
Well, I do respect his game, and yeah, obviously you have to respect the track record for everything he's done, all these straight trips to the finals and whatnot. But I have a hard time with the whining and the complaining, and I personally think Michael Jordan is still the greatest, and not because I'm a Bulls fan.
Biggest whiner ever to play the game, by the way.
Oh, I mean all the stars.
You're too young. If you watched game in and game out, he was complaining all the time to the refs, coming out of timeouts Everything was a whiner. Ask all the refs.
Well, because in the NBA, the stars always get the special
they have
treatment.
to ride
so
the refs.
it's a
like
strategy.
It's a strategy.
Yeah, so you can't really blame him for doing that.
So
either.
you're holding it against LeBron James for being a whiner, and you're not holding it against the biggest whiner of all time, Michael Jordan. That's what you're doing.
Well, see, I think they're telling me in there to mention the flopping and things too. I mean, hey, everyone does it. I think the NBA is a lot softer and I know I can't really talk about, being born in 1996. I can't recall the games in the 90s and the Jordan era and the Pistons and whatnot. But when I see highlights and, sometimes on, actually in the morning, I think it was yesterday before coming in when I was waking up, the ESPN Classic channel was showing all the Eastern Conference Finals games of Jordan and the Pistons and whatnot. And I just think the NBA was a lot more physical to play in back in the day. I think LeBron is one of the best. I think Jordan has the edge still. I think LeBron is close. I'll at least give him that. Some people don't want to put him anywhere near Jordan, but some people say he's better than Kobe. I think LeBron is better than Kobe. I think he's a close second in my book.
Well, there you go. Tonight it is LeBron James once again. Watch it, people, because it'll be gone one day and we're all going to miss it. LeBron James and going up against the entirety of the Boston Celtics today. This will be at Cleveland. It'll be a whole different story than the last two games. All right, guys, let's take a look. I want to hit a couple of things before Gladdy Daddy comes in. I don't know if Gladys is going to talk. Are you going to talk about this Mikulich story, Gladys? You don't have this one, do you? It just came out. An ex-police officer. Well, we'll talk about it. An ex-police officer who hit a man with a squad car in 2016 while driving drunk is suing the Lake County Sheriff and the Sheriff's Department. That's Guy Mikulich. He's asking for $75,000 in the lawsuit, arguing that his termination from the Sheriff's Department violated the American with Disabilities Act of 1990. Pleaded guilty but mentally ill Monday when he allegedly ran over a guy after drinking a bunch of stuff while on duty at the Gary Air Show. Now, this is all alleged, and you get the idea. And also, there was the Hobart woman gets 65 years for killing her husband. Jason Cochran's parents listened Wednesday as a statement was read aloud on their behalf to his wife, who killed him 2 years ago in Hobart. You are a very evil person, the statement read. Kelly Cochran apologized to her in-laws, Mary and Chester Cochran, who sat a row in front of her parents, Melanie and Tim Gaboyan, in Lake Superior Court in Crown Point. I take full responsibility for Jason's death. Kelly, who's 35, went Wednesday to 65 years in prison for killing Jason. She gave her husband a fatal dose of heroin on February 20th of 2016, put her hands on his neck, nose, and mouth until he died. His death was ruled a homicide by asphyxia by strangulation. Dave Gladys is here. We'll be right back here on the voice and face of the region. It is storm season.
You know the great thing about Indiana weather? You never have to wait long for it to change. All 4 seasons on any given day. So when it's calm, sign up for power outage text alerts from NIPSCO. And the next time Mother Nature is in a mood, we'll send you a notification if your power goes out, along with an estimated time you can expect it back on. Just go to nipsco.com/alerts. We'll keep you covered out there.
Hi, this is Ellen from Quick Scripts Pharmacy, and here is your countdown of the top 5 reasons to switch your prescriptions to Quick Scripts in 2018. Number 5, your hometown pharmacy just got bought out by a 3-letter big box chain. Number 4, you go to your pharmacy and don't recognize anyone. Number 3, it takes 3 weeks to get a medication you ordered yesterday. Number 2, they no longer take your insurance and you just found out after you left the emergency room. And number 1, you just really love our staff at Quick Scripts. Wishing you a happy and healthy 2018 from our Quick Scripts family to yours. Stop into any one of our 3 locations serving Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana today.
Laborers Local 41, together with Indiana Laborers Training Center and our signatory employers, provide state-of-the-art instruction in all areas of the construction industry, from hazardous material handling and environmental remediation to road construction and highway safety. Remember to slow down in construction zones and that the Local 41 members working there are mothers, fathers, coaches, and mentors. Laborers Local 41. We build Indiana in more ways than one.
Good morning, everybody. 729 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Deedlow, host of JED in the region, hanging out with you guys on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and video. And then also, of course, on the radio here at WJJB on 1230 and 104.7. And also, more and more people are listening on the TuneIn app, and we appreciate all of you. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford's got a little bit of slowness going into the merge and coming out of it. But other than that, it's about an average to a little below average day in terms of traffic going to the city. Skyway, Toll Road, Barman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue. Thanks a lot to Napleton, River Honda. Let's take a look at what the weather looks like. Beautiful day today as you're looking at a high of 76. Next 4 days, highs right around 70. And maybe a little rain by Sunday, but hopefully not rain on Saturday as the Joe B. Memorial Ride will go off from the Knights of Columbus at 173rd and Klein Avenue. And you're going to want to go off for that. Sign-up starts at 9, first bike out at 11. And Dave Gladys is with us. Gladys, how you been, man?
Good morning. Good.
What have you been doing, huh?
Keeping myself busy, going to court. Usual stuff.
It doesn't sound very exciting, by the way.
I enjoy my job, so it's okay.
I got to read a couple of texts here. Joe Batusek, I love that guy. What a great dude. One of Bishop Knoll's finest. The dumbest? That's a compliment from those Trumpards. Ha ha. Yes, I can take the heat and cold anytime, says Fernando. What else? Too much sildenafil for you, Jed. You hurt your wrist.
That's not very nice.
Ravislow, that's the name of it. Ravislow is that golf course that used to be private and is not private and is an amazing golf course if you're looking for a different place to play. Let's see what else we got in terms of the text. Millennials need to clean up the mess we didn't create. And Marine Pete says, yes, I am currently stationed in South Carolina. And double big truck, Lincoln Logout. All right, there it is. Fernando said social programs are suffering. All right, I've read some of them. So Dave Gladys is a board-certified attorney. He practices out of Highland on 45th, and every once in a while he comes in and we just look at some of the legal stuff that's going on in the world. And if you have any questions or comments on it, 219-845-1100, call or text. What's up first?
Well, we've talked many times on, the show in reference to people that we know are guilty. There's no question about their guilt. They should be immediately, put in prison or put to death if they've committed a crime that's very heinous. Well, we have a case out of New York which shows that a rush to justice is not a good thing. We have an individual by the name of John Bunn, B-U-N-N. He was 14 years old at the time when an off-duty corrections officer was murdered. And there was a witness that was also shot at the scene, and that witness picked him and a 17-year-old out of a photo lineup. They were charged with the murders, and in one day, and I'm sorry about my voice, but I'm a little under the weather, but in one day, they picked a jury, had their openings, had witnesses on the stand, and had a conclusion of the murder trial. Even a small car accident case is hard to get done in one day when you pick a jury and everything else, much less a murder case.
And this was in New York State or New York City?
In New York City. And the fact that you got that done that quick, that shows that the defense put up no effort to show that these individuals were not guilty of the crime. Now, there was 2 bicycles left at the scene of the shooting, along with blood and multiple fingerprints. When it was reviewed, all these years later, 27 years later, the blood and the fingerprints do not match Mr. Bunn. So he was not involved in the shooting. He's been exonerated. However, he spent 17 years in prison because of arrested justice, and he was tried as an adult because he was only 14 years old at the time. So when people say, oh, this is a heinous crime, clearly he's guilty, he was picked out of a photo lineup, it wasn't true. They're able to show based upon evidence that can't be disputed because there are fingerprints and blood at the scene that does not match these individuals. So when everyone says let's immediately put somebody to death, let's immediately put them in prison, that's why we have a system that takes as long as it does to ensure that both sides have an equal opportunity to the evidence and you have a fair presentation to 12 jurors and you need to find them guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. A one-day trial and the way this was handled is terrible. And even the judge said this was a sad miscarriage of justice. So for all the people that say, let's immediately put these people to death, we've had so many people that have been exonerated in Illinois. This is in New York. Every day, if you watch the news, another case comes out where there's been evidence planted. There's been a rogue officer that's done something wrong in reference to, extorting somebody or trying to plant evidence. Or you've got a situation like this where the defense attorney did a terrible job in representing their client. So we have to let the system work, and we have to give people an opportunity.
Well, let's break this one down. Let's talk about the defense. I mean, in America, you get a lawyer put to you. I mean, do sometimes you just not do their job, or
this
what?
Be a public defender. The kid was 14 years old. He was in a public housing situation. So without question, this attorney did a terrible job. So were they overloaded? Did they not care? Did they just make the assumption clearly he's guilty because he was picked out of a photo lineup? Photo lineups are notorious for being or eyewitness testimony, I should say. There was always an example where you have somebody walk in a room, take someone's purse and run out, and then you have everyone in the class write down what this person looked like, what they were wearing, and so forth. And you'll get all kinds of descriptions of an individual and find that it's incorrect because you're just not ready for it. You're not expecting it. So when something happens like this, and this individual that identified them had been shot, so clearly he was not in a state of mind where he is going to be able to retain exactly what happened, and he misidentified two individuals.
Is that a standard stunt that is pulled in law schools or in law enforcement so that you can show this?
I've never been involved. My undergrad degree is in criminal justice, and being a former probation officer and having gone to law school and taken law classes, I've never been exposed to it, but I've read studies where they've gone through and done that. So I've not actually experienced it, but I have read the results of different studies where they've shown that.
I was going to say, if you did that now and you had somebody come in and say, take the professor's purse, if it's a woman, and run, there's got to be like 10 people or 20 people all packing in the class.
It's a different day.
Yeah, we'd just be like, all right, hey, listen, guys, this is an experiment. Keep your stuff on your ankle or in your back pocket or over there, all right? Don't be pulling out any guns right now. You have to make that very clear before you did.
Especially we have a lot of officers getting higher education now. So, yeah, you could have some officers in class.
We're going to do a little drill here, but it's just a drill because
they have a video right now. If people pay attention on Facebook where this male encountered these women at a school in Brazil, and I don't know if he was there to take a child or whatever.
I saw it.
She's a female officer, highly trained. She pulled out a gun and blasted him and took him down. He died from his wounds, but she saved the child and the women that were there, and he had his gun pointed at them.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird one. The guy just ran up to him, pointed the gun at the woman in a stroller.
Correct.
And said, give me whatever you had. And then the other woman was kind of standing off to the side with her purse. She just walked up and opened up her purse and pulled it out and shot him right in the chest.
Right in the chest?
Right in the chest. And he rolled down, and then he was rolling on the ground. And so she kept the gun pointed at him and then came over and kicked his gun away and rolled him over and put her foot on his back.
Yes.
To keep him there. And, man,
she's a national hero down there right now.
Yeah, she's a national hero, man. And you know what? Why isn't that more of a crime deterrent? That, hey, when you're going to do something, you don't know. Like, say you're in a McDonald's or something, or you're in, where a bunch of people are and you're going to rob something, man. There's so many people. Even the kind of like, a lot of times you look at someone and you're like, nah, they're not packing. And then you go in her purse or around a leg, or you go into the house and they've got a big cache of guns in the basement. You never know anymore. And
Well,
that
there's
guy
more-
he picked the wrong moment at the wrong. He paid with his life for that robbery.
You know Ron Layer very well. He is a former Army Ranger, local attorney. He's been practicing for years and very respected. He likes to comment that, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, that the two highest recruits coming out of the Ranger class were both women this last. So he has extolled that women are, competing with men at all levels, whether it's in the military or in the police departments now.
He's Dave Gladys. You guys get any comments on this? Guns, any of that? All you got to do is call us at 219-845-1100. We're going to run through the various law cases that are out in the news. And Gladys, what's next?
This one, I think everyone should take note of. If you have elderly parents or elderly relatives, we have a caregiver from Oklahoma. Her name is Shelly Streck, and she was getting paid cash to take care of an elderly couple. They were in their 80s. The wife was bedridden. She had had a stroke, and the husband could not take care of her. So she was residing with them, and she was being paid. And she used her position of power, and I'm saying position of power because they needed her. He could not take care of his wife. He was 85 years old as well. So how is he able to keep the house going, get everything done and so forth? So she got him to start paying her money on the side. Got a car from him, and eventually she continued to groom him in such a fashion where she wanted him to leave everything to her and her children. So basically she was taking advantage of her position, and she tried to give a power of attorney, and the attorney for the elderly gentleman would not allow it, saying, hey, this is wrong, you can't do this. She eventually showed him a striptease video of herself in hopes of getting him to leave the entire estate to her, with a promise that he would take care of the wife if he were to pass away. And clearly, once he passed away, she would not take care of the wife. She would move on because she was just doing it for the money. And now she's been charged with a felony that's punishable up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. So whenever you have somebody that is attempting to take advantage of older people, groom them, and get them to trust you and totally rely on you, and then you make threats of potentially leaving, or if you don't do this, I'm not going to help you anymore, and now they're scared because they rely on you for everything. We have to be very careful in this day and age, and probably this has been going on years and years and years, to make sure that people are not taking advantage of like that.
Well, she's a pretty woman.
She's attractive. I mean, that's probably one of the ways that she was also using to get the gentleman to, like I said, give her the car.
And she did a striptease video?
Yes.
Is that public?
I did not see it. I'm relying on the news article for that information. She also attempted or did get him to put her name on an account or two in reference to banking. So you can make the argument, well, we did that because we want easily access. You can pay bills. But on the other side, you're giving her total control over the money as well.
This happens, doesn't it?
I think it happens more often than you think, and that's why I'm saying this is a story that's not only interesting because of she is an attractive lady.
And
there
a
was
striptease video. I automatically concentrated on that. I'm like, come on, get your mind out of the gutter. I mean, this is dangerous.
Yes.
Families, all of a sudden, somebody dies, and why is all the money going to the caregiver?
Exactly. And they're in a position of power because you totally rely on them, especially in this instance. The wife was bedridden. If she didn't, and the gentleman's 85 years old, you cannot have somebody, taking advantage of that power that they now have over you and say, if you don't do this, you're going to lose everything. Well, I'm going to leave. What are you going to do then? And you're older, you're scared, you're relying on the person, you trust them, and there you go.
Let's go to Lefty on Carpenter's Local 599 phone line. Hey, Lefty, how are you?
Jed, what's up, Dave?
Good morning.
Hey, what happens when a prosecutor violates the Brady Bill and withholds information in a case, or withholds evidence in a case?
Be specific. Where you going with this?
At the end of 2016, there was an individual by the name of Willie Timothy Donald that served, I think, 23 or 26 years in prison. Finally, he was released, exonerated through DNA and stuff. He wasn't the one. but it was the prosecutor that was withholding the evidence in the case.
Oh, I remember hearing this one. Yes.
And we've heard this several times where prosecutors, because they want to get that conviction, because sometimes it's used by individuals to basically give them a platform to run for higher office. So they get a big conviction in a very grisly case or something that's getting a lot of media attention, and therefore they say, okay, I'm going to go to all ends to get this conviction so I can show that I'm tough on crime, and then these things happen. So the individual, if you can show that they fraudulently concealed their wrongful conduct, that can toll the statute of limitations. You can sue them for their conduct. Potentially the department that they work for or the governmental entity they work for could be exposed for their actions, kind of like what we're talking, Jed was talking earlier about Michigan State. We can go into that case next. But there is potential not only for the acquittal, but then also damages based upon the conduct of the prosecutor. But how do you get your life back after all that time? That's terrible.
Well, the thing is, sue him civilly or whatever, but while he's incarcerated for 20-some years, the statute of limitations is running out.
Well, you usually have 2 years from the act for the statute of limitations. However, if there's fraudulent concealment of the activity, that can be told. That's an example in reference to the molestation cases against the Catholic Church, because the priest threatened the kids and so forth in certain instances. That told the statute of limitations. So if there's an active act by the individual to conceal the wrongdoing, that can toll the statute of limitations.
Why can't there be criminal charges brought against somebody for withholding evidence like that in a case?
They could, and potentially they should. The question is there going to be a prosecutor that's strong enough and feels that based upon this knowing act of concealing evidence that they're going to go after that individual?
How many times has that happened, though? I never remember a story where somebody withheld evidence or whatever, and then they went after a prosecutor.
I'll tell you a story, and you'll remember it. The Duke case with the lacrosse team.
Yes.
He did that, and he did it for that reason. He was looking for higher office. He prosecuted those individuals. He had evidence that showed that they were not guilty of the crime charge. He charged them with the highest crime he possibly could come up with based upon what he said the evidence was, and they were all acquitted, and they found out that he actively concealed evidence showing that the allegations of that stripper was not correct. And he was charged criminally.
So how do you feel about this, Lefty?
Well, for one reason, what about somebody if they go in front of a grand jury and the grand jury is asking for evidence in a case and you give it to them with the understanding that you make a copy of it and give it back to you, and then the prosecutor says, no, you're not getting it back, we're keeping it.
Okay, I don't know what case you're talking about there. Is that your case?
No, somebody else's case.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, thanks for calling. Ultimately, prosecutors are hired by us to people in jail, and we want them to be aggressive, and we want them to find the bad guys and use all the tools that are available. But there's also an accountability there for prosecutors.
And trust, public trust. You have to have confidence in your judicial system that it's fair, it's equitable. We find many times it's not fair because people that are poor cannot afford the same justice as people that are rich. We talked about the teen that was able to hire the high-profile psychologist who came up with the
affluence
issue. That's a prime example. They were very, very wealthy, and they were able to get their son out of basically what should have been a reckless homicide conviction based upon a made-up diagnosis that the judge in that instance bought. So what are you going to do? This individual who's 14 years old, who's now been exonerated, and who's living in public housing, how highly skilled of an attorney do you think he had representing him when you have a murder trial in one day?
Let's go to Bill on line 2. Hi, Bill. How are you?
How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
It never seems to stop. Michigan State, Penn State, and Joe Paterno Rick Pitino at Louisville. You may remember that years ago, Rick Pitino was married, impregnated his girlfriend, paid for the girlfriend's abortion. Then the girlfriend tries to extort Pitino for millions, and now Pitino's run out of Louisville for getting prostitutes for his recruits. Isn't college athletics wonderful?
Well, Patino's in a lot of trouble right now because he filed a lawsuit against Louisville claiming that he was wrongfully terminated. They sent him a request for admissions, which included admit that you had this agent at basketball practice like 8 or 10 days before you were terminated. The fact that he had an agent there watching basketball practice was a violation of the NCAA, like a level 1 violation, and therefore they had just cause just based upon that to terminate him. He did not answer the admissions within the time period, and they're deemed admitted as a matter of law. So Pitino, they're saying, well, we didn't admit it, we didn't do anything, but they failed to address those requests to admit. So basically, Pitino has now acknowledged that through his failure to act, that the agent was there. So I think his lawsuit is going south at this point in time, and will eventually be dismissed.
Pitino, of course, he filed a lawsuit nationally and locally. When you're caught, when you're convicted, and you go to federal prison, you maintain your innocence forever. It's the oldest tactic in the book.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill. We'll be right back. Voice and face of the region. We have a 12-hour meat sale coming up, and that is this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be at Strachan Van Til's.
From the Strachan Van Til studios, your local Strachan Van Til has some great products on sale this week. Here's a few items you might want to add to your shopping list. Certified Angus beef boneless top sirloin, $5.99 a pound. Large pineapple or cantaloupe, 99 cents. Pleasant View milk, $1.99 a gallon. And Hinkley Springs water, 24 packs, $1.99. Strachan Van Til, proud to be Indiana made and dedicated to being Indiana's grocery store.
That's it. I'm listening to the voice in my head. I'm thirsty and I want to watch baseball. I'm heading to Johnny's Tap at 8050 Calumet Avenue in Munster. They have 12 beers on tap to choose from.
Johnny's Tap, the home of Mr. Fun since 1956. New ownership and now smoke-free. Join us for Mix It Monday, Taco and Tequila Tuesday, Whiskey Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, and Fireball Friday. Johnny's Tap.
Come out to Napleton's River Oaks Honda during the Honda Memorial Day sales event and save big on all new 2018 Hondas in stock, including Civics, Accords, CRVs, and Pilots. This weekend only, the first 25 customers get a free smartwatch with a test drive. Come find out why you always get our best deal at River Oaks Honda. As always, Indiana residents pay Indiana sales tax. Right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Second to none since 1931.
Must be 18 years or older with valid driver's license. Limit 1 per household. No purchase necessary while supplies last.
Rush Radio Surgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radio surgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radio Surgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
Hey guys, 753 in the Calumet region, 294 around the city's moving well. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Fort. A little bit heavy on the merge and a little bit heavy coming out of the merge, but it's a little bit lighter than normal. Skyway and the Toll Road, Borman I-65 are all moving along well. Thanks a lot to Napleton, River Oaks Honda. Beautiful forecast on tap for today, a high of dun-dun-dun-dun. And then tomorrow, partly sunny and beautiful, a high of 71. And then Saturday, times of clouds and sun and a high of 70. And Dave Gladden's weather is brought to you by our good friends at Laborers Local 41, of which I am certainly a proud alum of that fine union. And we have Dave Gladdish. He is in here. This section, this final section, is brought to you by Rush Radio Surgery. Their dedicated and experienced team mission is to provide the highest quality and most compassionate cancer care. Visit rushradiosurgery.com. Dave Gladdish, we got to talk about Michigan State.
Okay.
Dave Gladdish is board-certified attorney. We try to hit some law issues, and I'll just read this top paragraph to give people some background here. Michigan State University agreed yesterday to pay $500 million to more than 300 victims of sexual abuse by Larry Nassar, the sports medicine doctor it employed. This is a sum that is among the largest for victims of abuse and leaves unclear the future financial path for one of the nation's top public universities. Recently, the interim president had even talked about bankruptcy of Michigan State University. There's about 300 victims. Each get about $1.25 million. Gladys, what do you make of this?
Well, in reference to the settlement, it's $425 million, which will be paid to the current claimants, which is 332 women. Now, they are not going to be paid equally. So I think there's going to be a metric set up where they're going to say, somehow they're going to say, based upon, I guess, their age, exposure, number of times, when they reported it, there's going to be certain metrics put out there.
What happened?
I think what happened was very consistent throughout, and I don't want to get into anything graphic. I have researched some of this in reference to the claims, but you have some of the women that were actually filed claims against him, and the university as well as people within the medical community backed up what he was allegedly doing, saying it was not molestation. It was actually a respected type of procedure that should be done in these instances and so forth. And clearly that was not, there's no foundation in medicine for that argument, but it was accepted and pushed by the university and also by Nassar, who's now spending the rest of his life in prison. So there's even an account in the paper where he would perform this manipulation that was clearly molestation, and he would do it in front of the parents sometimes, and he'd have it done in their office with a sheet between the parents and him and the child, and in the room would be a bunch of signed photographs with all these gymnasts that had won gold medals. So he was so arrogant because he had got away with it even when it was brought to the attention of the university, and he had such a reputation with the United States Olympic Committee that people did not question it. If you wanted to follow these other ladies that were up on the wall, you have to submit to what he wanted. And so that's why Michigan State entered into this settlement, in my opinion, is because there was such strong evidence against them that they allowed the molestations to continue, even though it was brought to their attention, that even one of these lawsuits could have exposed them to, a very large verdict. And they did not want to have that exposure over and over and over again.
Let's go to George online, 599. Hey, George, what's up?
How you doing? With respect to Michigan State, they're also fighting with their insurance company for coverage, correct?
Oh, they're not sure how they're going to pay this money. Very good point. They don't know because there's also usually sovereign immunity for a governmental entity, tort claim requirements, and so forth. But since there was some, what they can allege, like I talked about earlier, fraudulent concealment of the claims, I think that Michigan State was very afraid that if all of these women came forward, and this is not all of them, they're saying there's more than 332, but that was the current pool of plaintiffs, that they could really bankrupt the university.
Is there any hope for a structural settlement in those situations?
It's all going to depend. Like I said, I think what the judge is going to work with the plaintiffs' attorneys and defense attorneys and set up, again, like a matrix where they're going to give some, I've seen it before in different, like the breast implant litigation, where they give points for, you have this condition, this happened, this happened, this happened, and based upon your point level.
Prioritizing, in other words, right?
Yeah,
Matrix.
exactly. If you're more injured, you fall into this category, less injured, you fall into different categories.
Yeah,
one
last thing, going back to your initial one about the 14-year-old, isn't that really more the, I'm going to use the word loosely, the fault or the caused by an overstressed, underfunded public defender system more than anything else? Because, that guy was he was just processed like something on an assembly line.
Absolutely.
On that,
I agree with everything you just
case.
said. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Many times these prosecutors have too many cases. They have too little funding. And again, this is a number of years ago.
No, I meant the public defender, not the prosecutor.
Correct. Well, I agree with you what you said, that it's not usually the prosecutor has they have the police department, they have all the investigators and everything. So the public defender is usually at, a disadvantage in most instances. However, Mars Gonzalez, he's taken over the public defender's office in Lake County, and he's working hard to get equal pay for the defense attorneys at a level with the prosecutors, and doing other things to make it more fair and equitable, at least in our area. What's happening in New York City and what's happening back then, I'm not sure. But clearly you're right.
It's a matter of time, too, to prepare for a case. My guess is, given the amount of cases in New York there, that guy's probably handed a file at 9 o'clock in the morning and said, hey, man, your trial starting at noon. Get your people ready. I mean, did he have a chance to even review it, cross-examine who the arresting officers, yada, yada, yada. And I don't know. It's so fraught with everybody's overburdened. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I just wonder if there was in other words, the kid probably didn't know his rights, didn't know that, he also had an appeal for adequacy of representation, too, in addition to whatever flaws may have been in the evidence, etc. Anyway, okay, I just wanted to bring it out. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
He brought up some points, but you also have to remember it took 17 years of him being in prison and even a longer period of time for him to finally get the acquittal. So it's really a miscarriage of justice. So, again, we have to be very careful on when we say someone's absolutely guilty because this evidence was overwhelming. Sometimes it may seem like that at first blush, but when you really look at it, it's not there.
He's Dave Gladish, board-certified attorney. I do want to come right back to Michigan State. What if they file for bankruptcy?
Well, if you file bankruptcy, an automatic stay is put in place on all these claims. An automatic stay means that you cannot proceed with the civil case until such time as the federal judge allows you to. Now, sometimes you can get an automatic stay lifted and proceed against insurance policies and say that you're not going to go after the entity that's filed for the bankruptcy, which I've done in the past. However, if they do file bankruptcy on the claims, they may have to liquidate their assets and so forth. So
how do you liquidate a state asset?
Detroit did it, so there is precedent for this to happen where a governmental entity files for bankruptcy. So Detroit was actually, I think we talked about it on the air some time ago, they have a very nice art museum, and the creditors wanted Detroit to have to liquidate those pieces of art that they had gathered over the years, have been donated to the city and so forth, and they were able to maintain that art museum even though they went through bankruptcy. So the judge has a lot of discretion as to how they proceed with the bankruptcy, but the claims could be lost or greatly diminished if they were to file bankruptcy. So I think that's some leverage in reference to coming to this settlement. $75 million will be held for other victims. And again, the other 332 victims that were part of this settlement pool, they are going to divide up to $425 million. And again, we'll have to see. I'll give the listeners an update as to how they come about the matrix for dividing that money up, but there will be something set up that the judge is going to have to approve.
He's Dave Gladish, board-certified attorney. Thanks for watching and listening on this instance of JED in the region. Purdue Northwest normally goes in this next time slot, but school is out, so it's going to be the young guys. I'm just going to leave, and they're going to figure out what they're going to do for the next half hour. This instance of YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook closes right now. Click. Closes right now. There you go. And we're going to continue on the radio, and these guys are going to come in here. I'm out. They're in. See you later. See you tomorrow.
Everything Italian. That's what you get at Giuseppe's Restaurant in Cherville.
Hi, this is Joe from Giuseppe's Everything Italian. Here today to let our friends and listeners to WJOB know about the few things that we have. We offer catering now, catering for your party, family event, or even for businesses. Just give us a call at Giuseppe's at 322-0011 and ask for Joe. Thank you.
Giuseppe's Everything Italian is located at 1000 Eagle Ridge Drive in Cherville, just north of the Showplace Theaters. 219-322-0011 or visit Giuseppe'sPizza.net.
Do you have a family history of heart disease or diabetes? St. Catherine Hospital Cardiovascular Prevention Center providers are offering free assessments to help determine your risk for heart disease and other related medical conditions on Mondays, Tuesdays, and